Welcome everybody to JCTV once again. Tonight we are at the Milwaukee Mile for the MartinPC.com 200. I'm Josh Copperl. I'm joined in the booth with me by Adam Kuhn and the man, the myth, the legend, Gage Bussinger. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Milwaukee tonight, very exciting track. Very slick race, it seems like. Very hot temperatures, so it should be a great race tonight, Josh.
Josh, it's great to be here. I've been absent the past couple of weeks, but great to be back. Excited for tonight.
Glad to have you guys in the booth with me. Let's talk last week. Adam, you and I saw. Actually, you weren't in the booth with me last week. But you did watch the broadcast. Meanwhile, we saw a crazy race last week at IRP with Ammon taking the checkered flag, but ultimately being disqualified and handed to Reuter.
Ammon was disqualified or removed from his win, and Reuter won the race, so very confusing there. You actually were able to, you were the first one to tell him he won, so that was very interesting circumstance there last week, and it was very fun to watch on the broadcast. You and Nick did a great job last week.
Yeah, I actually would really like to bring in Kyle Reuter. Kyle, it's Josh in the JCTV booth. Got a copy?
I got a copy.
Man, how you doing? Come here after your big win last week, after thinking that you finished second. You ended up being the winner, and now you come in here, you know, with momentum. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, actually. I was able to get a couple practice sessions in this week to try to get this track figured out. Definitely going to be a challenge tonight. Looks like Cam's, of course, pretty quick, and got Alonso on my tail here in practice, so should be a good one.
You're 1/100th of a second slower than Caldwell tonight at the Milwaukee Mile.
Honestly, I think just tire wear is going to be a huge key, just based off the practice laps. Looks like I'm kicking the crap out of my right front tire here, so just got to be patient, and hopefully the race will come to me.
Alrighty, well, that's it for this interview, but we will talk to you later. You are the in-race reporter, so I'll bring you in a couple times tonight. So good luck out there. Catch you in a bit.
Appreciate it. Talk to you in a bit.
That was driver the number 9, Kyle Reuter.
Very exciting for him and that team. That was BK Motorsports' first win, and they're sponsoring the race again here tonight with the MartinPC.com 200 at the Milwaukee Mile, Josh.
Yeah, and this is MartinPCs.com's third race doing a sponsorship deal, and both races so far this season have been exciting. Daytona, Talladega. You know, this is different than Daytona and Talladega. This is a short track, but our short track races have absolutely put on a great show. All the ones that we visited. So I expect nothing different here tonight. This is a mile-long track, Milwaukee Mile, but these flat corners, it's really going to drive like a short track, kind of like a Phoenix, if you will. Long time out of the gas, and these drivers, they're going to be hugging the bottom. I think it's going to be one-lane track. Be very hard to pass tonight. Meanwhile, 2 races remain, and we take a look at our point standings here. We got 3 drivers that still have a chance to win it all. Alexander Kerfan, Alonso Chocano, Cameron Caldwell. Caldwell with the points lead of 13 points. Kerfan is not currently in the session. Not sure if he is going to be racing tonight, but pretty much it is just down to the driver of the 12 and the driver of the 25, with just 2 races remaining. Meanwhile, looking at team points, Radius Racing has clinched the team championship. So congrats to Radius Racing on that. Pretty much Radius has dominated this season.
Yeah, it's pretty much been between Cam Caldwell and Alonso Chocano all season long. We've been saying it pretty much since the second race of the season, really, when they won the first 2 races right out of the gate. So it's been them all season. They've been throwing punches at each other verbally and out on the track and with wins. So they've stacked up pretty good points here tonight. Or not, coming into tonight with just 2 races to go. And one thing we need to mention is the drop week is very important for the top 3, or the top 4, I mean. But after tonight, Alexander Griffin won't be able to get it because he's missing this race right now. So it will just be between Cam Caldwell, Alonso Chicano, and Clarence Feldner. And with the drop week in effect, it would give Cam a 2-point advantage with their worst finishes at Talladega, I believe.
And speaking of points leader, Cameron Caldwell, I'd like to bring him in for an interview. Cameron, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Oh, doing good as always. We're here at Milwaukee. Different track, not one that we see on a schedule very often, but you got that 13-point gap ahead of Chocano. 2 races remain. So what's it going to take tonight to make sure you stay ahead of Chocano?
I think it's just going to come down to being able to save tires. It seems to be a 1-lane track, and if you kind of drift out of the top or the bottom groove, you're just going to kind of slide up and you're going to burn your tires off more. So I think just being able to stay disciplined and run the bottom lane the whole time will kind of get the job done. I think being able to carry a lot of center speed through the corner will help a lot. I've been running some practice laps here, and it seems like that's where I've been better than others, is through the center of the corner. But it's still going to be hard to pass because you still have to get the run off the corner. So it's really just going to come down to just saving your stuff and being able to get off the corner well, I think.
Alrighty, well, let you get back up in there as practice winds down. We'll probably talk to you a little bit later on tonight. So good luck out there.
All right, thanks, guys.
And that was points leader Cameron Caldwell, and I also would like to bring in, the other guy that's in the battle, Alonso Chicano. Alonso, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, feeling good.
That's good to hear. Absolutely. Talk to Cam. I asked what it's going to take for him to, protect his points lead, but I want to know from your perspective, what's it going to take to, cut down into Cameron Caldwell's points gap? What's it going to take for you to enter Homestead next week at a better advantage than what you have now?
Well, obviously, the skill is there on from both of us. I think it's very close when it comes to the skill point. So, it's hard to just beat him flat out. It's gonna, honestly take a little bit of luck on my part and a little bit of bad luck from Cam to get out of here with a decent point gap being closed down, so that way I have a really good chance for next week. 13 points isn't a lot, but the way we've been racing all season, it feels like a lot of points for me, just because I've only been able to just get a few points here and there, closing the gap, and so it's gonna take a little bit of bad luck on his part, just to make a mistake or something, so I can gain a few positions on him.
Alrighty, well, let you get back up in there, and maybe talk to you a little bit later.
All right, thank you guys.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
That was driver of the 25, Alonso Chocano. Well, guys, minute 40 left to go in practice. Who's going to win tonight? Adam, who's your pick to win?
Well, I'm going to go with the point leader, Cam Caldwell. He's got motivation to increase that point gap going into the finale. He wants to be very comfortable going into the final race. Yeah, he's been practicing a lot. He's very motivated. He's top of the board right now, just barely, but I think he's going to try and pace himself to keep the lead and try and win this race tonight.
It's a good pick for sure. Cameron Caldwell always up there. Gage, how about you?
Well, in the midst of the chaos ensued off of turn 2 last week at IRP, Kyle Reuter emerged as the winner. And I think this week it's not going to take that. I mean, I think tonight it's going to take a dominant performance. I think he's actually going to sneak away and get the win tonight while the championship leaders battle between themselves.
I really like that pick, Gage. I think Kyle Reuter, he's definitely shown he knows how to get around these short tracks. Sits second on the practice charts right now. It's a pretty good pick. I am going to go with Alonso Chocano. Man, trying to fight for a championship right now. Chocano, he has shown speed at everywhere we go and ultimately has had such bad luck after getting a second win a few weekends ago. So, Alonso Chocano, I think he's the man. Can get it done tonight and cut the points gap down between himself and Cameron Caldwell. And as we wrap up practice, JCTV qualifying begins. See who takes home the JCTV Pole Award.
Yeah, one thing I found interesting that Chicano mentioned was the lack of error, or the, really no room for error. Even though there's only 8 trucks in this event, with how tight those two have been, every point is crucial. So even this qualifying session is going to be, critical in their starting position, how much they can make up time. Because, as you mentioned, it might be a one-groove track tonight, but, these guys are going to be willing to make moves. So I think it's important to stay up front.
Yeah, qualifying definitely is very important tonight. Not a lot of drivers in the field, but still will be hard to pass. See Cameron Caldwell, he is first out on track.
And another thing to mention, there is a bonus point for the pole position, so if it falls between the 12 and the 25, that could be very pivotal in this championship.
Definitely be interesting to see where each driver comes out. And Alonso actually a little bit faster than Caldwell that last time by, on that first lap rather, turning a 30.1. Cameron Caldwell with a 30.13. Alonso Chocano finishing up his qualifying time as well as Caldwell. And Alonso just increased the distance between himself and Caldwell. And Clarence Feldner actually ties with Caldwell for second place. Brian Haynes currently P4. He's coming out of turn 4 and will hit the line to finish up his second lap. Brian Haynes increases it just a little bit, not enough to actually change positions. Clarence Feldner comes into the pits, and Kyle Reuter, finishing up his second lap, puts him second on the board, 6/100ths of a second behind Chocano. There is no drivers on track right now, so track is quiet. We got 2 minutes left for qualifying if any driver chooses to go out there. But right now, Alonso Chocano with the top spot, guys.
This would be his first pole position of the season if it stands, so that would be very important for him. And like I mentioned, another point taken away from Cam. And who's going to start 3 positions behind at the moment, as it looks?
Yeah, I'm looking back. Chicano did score the victory at New Hampshire. Not too similar racetracks, but again, those flat turns. So, this could be a strong suit here.
Still no activity going on around the track.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the remaining drivers wouldn't just rather skip qualifying and just let them start them where it puts them, and then focus on the race.
And some drivers, they do prefer not to qualify, would rather start in the back and, kind of a strategy call by those drivers. Kind of get a feel for the track, the way that everybody else is going to drive this track. Milwaukee is not a track that we do see often on the iRacing service. As mentioned earlier, it's not one that these guys visit. So these drivers, they've got a little bit to learn tonight. So drivers like Andrew, Elias, Caleb McCurry, I think they would rather be in the back, kind of help protect their truck, not really get up in the middle of it. So Alonso Chocano will take home the JCTV Pole Award tonight. Kyle Reuter starting second, and Clarence Feldner will have the third position.
In 4th, it's going to be Cameron Caldwell. 5th is Brian Haynes of the MountainPC.com Chevrolet. 6th is Andrew Elias.
Starting 7th is Caleb McCurry, and I don't believe Zach Probst is going to show tonight. So 7 trucks on the grid. With such a small grid tonight, this actually might just be an advantage for Caldwell, because it means he can finish 7th and Chicano can win, and it's not going to be a huge loss. It will still be a significant loss, but it won't be as bad if he were to finish last in a bigger field. Meanwhile, green flag is out. Alonso Chicano got a good jump, and he will be clear. Kyle Reuter, on the other hand, stuck on that outside. Reuter will be clear. And Caldwell is going to go from 4th to 2nd on lap 1. So now behind Chocano,
No surprise to see these guys get on the line the best way around, as you mentioned, and they're just trying to follow each other's tracks and hope the guy in front makes a mistake. And right now, Kyle Reuter's doing a good job on keeping up with these guys, and Gonzo's kind of breaking a little bit more free away from Caldwell, but Caldwell gets him back in the center of the corner. And what a huge run there off of 2 and 4.
Caldwell with a great run. Looking inside, not able to do anything with it, and just kind of gets off the line just a little bit. That's going to help Chocano on exit.
Clarence Feldner in 4th, he's now keeping up with these guys. Actually, really, top 5, Brian Haynes, all kind of right here, as you see in the shot. Right here in the line as we can get ready to start lap 10 here.
I'm definitely surprised to see that, really top 5 is all under a blanket.
Reuter almost had an opportunity to get to the inside of Cam Caldwell, but Caldwell closed it off quick.
Yeah, Caldwell threw that truck in there. I'm surprised he, could hold the bottom as much as he did.
The onboard of Kyle Reuter. See the different lines each driver is taking off exit of 4 there. Caldwell looking inside of Chocano. Was not able to get a run big enough to get to the inside of Chocano.
Yeah, that may just be one of those peaks for Caldwell where it's like, all right, I'm here. I'm not saying he's faster at this stage of the race, but, oh, wow, as it gets really sideways exiting 4 there.
Great recovery out of Caldwell, and he drove it in a little bit deeper into the corner there.
Kind of like Clarence Feldner to do the same thing. Now he's side by side with Brian Haynes back there for 4th position. And he's going to send it in deep again.
That is going to send Clarence Feldner off the line, allow Brian Haynes to take over the 4th spot. Last week's winner, Kyle Reuter, also Brian Haynes' teammate, sit 3rd place, still right here, waiting for a mistake out of Caldwell or Chocano, capitalize and get in front. Reuter would love to go back to back.
Yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, first win for this team last week at IOP, not only for Kyle Reuter, but first win for the team, so they are trying to ride their momentum, and they've been strong all season long, both he and Brian Haynes when Brian makes his appearances, but they finally broke through, and it was good to see them get the win, and they're ready to do it again tonight. Nine truck looks pretty solid compared to that 12 off of turn 4 there.
Yeah, 12 truck just keeps getting a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, it looks like he's set up his truck pretty free. Enters sideways and exits sideways, but he's maintained the 2nd. We'll see, the hot track temps. We'll see what that does with the tires, though, and the truck slide around like that.
the 86 running a higher lane there through 3 and 4. Kind of paying the price there for down the straightaway. You can see it there. Lost a bunch of time to his teammate there running down the front.
You mentioned earlier, Adam, that the pole award winner gets a bonus point. The driver with the fastest lap also gets a bonus point, and right now, Kyle Reuter looks underneath Caldwell. Caldwell does have the fastest lap so far in the race. Won't expect that to change until we see fresh tires on these trucks. But Reuter does get ahead of Caldwell, so Kyle Reuter, new driver in second place, and this is everything Chocano wants to see and everything Caldwell doesn't want to see, especially with Brian Haynes right there now hounding on the back of Caldwell.
Yeah, Caldwell's probably thinking, all right, you passed me, now go past Chocano up there.
You can already see the 9 start to pull away from Caldwell, so this could very be a good possibility on him running down Alonso. And you can already see the inroads he's making. The 25 starting to move up the track just a little bit too.
I have the data to see who's fastest. Unfortunately, we can't get that on screen, but Kyle Reuter actually fastest that last time by running a 31.08. Chocano a 31.24. So almost 2/10 the difference between Reuter and the leader, Chocano.
Yeah, Reuter's truck looks, he looks like he brakes deeper, plus the truck is much more stable. You can see how he just pins it onto the white line there, and yeah, he's making time up. Sometimes you can't really see it visually, but I mean, that's the gap he's pulled on Caldwell. It's pretty evident he's the fastest truck right now.
Kyle Reuter still closing the gap on Chocano. See the helmet cam. Kyle Reuter. Just look at this gap here. In this view, the top 5 we're all under a blanket. Reuter was able to get by Chocano, and now the gap between Reuter and Caldwell is huge.
Yeah, you can see the gap between first and second almost disintegrated, with Reuter taking over that second position, and he gets very close to that wall there off of turn 4, but he's got momentum carrying him to the back bumper of the 25 almost into 1 and 2.
As we know, catching a person is one thing and passing them is another. It'll be interesting to see how patient or impatient there is as he continues to close on the 25.
Kyle Reuter inching closer and closer. I think he's struggling a little bit on exit of the corners. And that is allowing Chocano to pull away on the straightaways. And Reuter is so much better on entry into 1 and 3. see up in the top left on the ticker, Miami. Next week, 7:30 Eastern, champion will be crowned. Will it be Chocano or Caldwell? Chocano continues to put on a dominant streak, like he has been. Might be able to catch Caldwell.
Yeah, this half of the season, Chocano's been probably the best finisher of the two consistently, but unfortunately, he's just not making enough points up on Caldwell because of the wins Cam has and the bonus points and just the consistency Cam's had all year around. So he's had a very difficult time making up these points the last couple of weeks, we've noticed.
Yeah, for Caldwell, he finished in the top 3 for, I believe, 7 of the 12 total races in the season. So to start off the season, it was 7 in a row that he finished in the top 3. And for Chocano, he had a couple wins, a couple runner-ups, but the other finishes weren't all that good compared to Caldwell's. So Chocano, he's had a hole to dig himself out of. These still remain close, and if he's able to win this thing, it's going to help him going into Miami next week.
And it's not bad finishes for Alonso either. Outside of his drop race, his worst finish is an 8th, and then his next worst is two fifths. So it's not that bad, but it's just bad compared to the consistency we've seen this year.
Kyle Reuter, after getting by Caldwell, was catching Chocano. It's really remained the same since about this gap. He's able to pull within 2/10 entering the corner and really getting back to 4/10 on exit down the straightaway.
I think it has to go to what Gage mentioned to earlier, the dirty air effect with these big trucks. They punch such a big hole in the air, especially around this track with how the way the walls are around this tiny place.
Right here you've got still 3 drivers, Feldner, Haynes, and Caldwell, all battling for that 3rd spot. Haynes actually was looking much lower than Caldwell was on entry of 3. Haynes a little loose on exit of 4.
Definitely looks like these guys are a little bit faster than Caldwell at the stage of the tire run. You see a big slide out of 12 machine there off at turn 4, and he's not helping these guys, losing time to Reuter and Chocano at this point.
Surprised to see in the back Clarence Feldner running a little bit of a higher line on entry. He's in that 2nd lane on entry. And you know, this kind of reminded me of a New Hampshire line. New Hampshire, the bottom line is has less banking than the 2nd lane and up. So a lot of drivers, they don't like to enter right on the bottom. This track is different. It is the same banking from the 1st lane to the 2nd lane. but the way Feldner is driving, he's entering higher, cutting down in the middle of the corner, trying to get a better run on exit. It's hurting him right at the moment, but it's definitely worth trying.
Yeah, opening up your corner entry does help you exit, but it does sacrifice some speed. You could see that, I mean, everyone has a different line, really, as you can see. Haynes really closing up to the back bumper of Caldwell, and you have to think it's just a matter of time before Haynes passes him.
Ooh, Haynes drove it deep into the corner there, and I think he had to get on the brakes hard so he didn't hit Caldwell. Now these two, they had a little bit of a run-in earlier in the week in the sister league to this one. We've heard Brian Haynes talk about before, the Martin PC Truck Series. These two, actually, they were battling first and second at the LA Coliseum in the trucks. And Haynes was able to do a bump and run on Caldwell to take the lead. Caldwell emerged victorious. These two are not battling for first and second, but nonetheless, they are still battling kind of where they left off from earlier in the week.
I can promise you this, as the front two get smaller and smaller in their windshield, the patience starts to dwindle inside. And yeah, we might see a bump and run here sooner or later. Still early, only lap 40 now, but have to think. I mean, Caldwell's just playing on the bottom. You can see even on exit, he's really low compared to the A6.
Yeah, it's been a few times before he had his big moment. Haynes looked pretty aggressive, like he wanted to move the 12 truck out of his way, so I wouldn't be so surprised if that would have happened here. He's definitely faster, and they keep losing time to these guys. I wouldn't put it past me to see him post something like that here. And he has to, honestly, if he wants to keep going at this stage of the race, but he's playing calm right now as he finally gets back to the back bumper there.
Talking about corner entry, you said Gage, that every driver does have a different entry and really line around the bottom. And you see Haynes just enters a little bit deeper into the corner than Caldwell does, and then cuts it down. It's not quite so deep like Clarence Feldner that we saw, but Haynes just kind of tracking out there a little bit longer before getting down to that yellow line. Meanwhile, up front, looked like Chocano was going to be able to start to really put a gap on Reuter. I noticed it was almost up to 1 second, and Reuter has closed in on Chocano. So getting to him is one thing, passing is another. You see, it's already so hard for these drivers to make passes on this track. So we'll see here what Kyle Reuter will be able to do to get his number 9 truck around Alonso Chocano.
Yeah, the benefit for Reuter is not having a truck behind him, because he can experiment things, he can try different things out, hoping to get a run on Chocano without the worry of someone ducking underneath him and passing him. So he's in a good position right now.
Keep an eye on that lead battle, but come back to battle for third. Brian Haynes still right there with Caldwell, and taking a little bit more of a wider exit that time by does Haynes.
Yeah, now Clarence Feldner's kind of adapted the traditional line opposed to the one that you pointed out he was running earlier. You see him kind of trying to peek his nose on the inside of Haynes there through the center of the corner. He looks a little bit faster than Haynes here, as Haynes finally gets to the inside of Caldwell down the back straightaway into 3.
Ryan Haynes has been patient long enough, and he's able to get around Cameron Caldwell.
Might lose 2 positions here.
Exactly, but Feldner backs off. Caldwell only losing 1 position there, and I'm not sure if Feldner just backed off or what happened there, but it looked really good for Feldner to be able to get around the 12.
Lance Feldner's going to try again, though. He looks like he had a huge run on Caldwell, who went all the way out to the wall in the exit of 4, but he just can't get to the inside of the 12 truck going into 1.
Feldner, he ran a really shallow entry there into turn 1.
Yeah, and excluding the bonus points, because we don't have that all figured out until the race is over, but if Caldwell drops back to 5th here, he'll be losing around 9 points to Chocano, if Chocano maintains the lead.
Right now, those bonus points should cancel each other out as far as the pole fastest lap goes, but for Chocano to lead a lap, that would be a bonus point that doesn't cancel out for Caldwell. Unless Caldwell is able to get up there and lead a lap at some point in this race, still 152 to go. It's very possible.
But at this rate, Alonso's pretty close to being able to clinch most laps led, which would be another one also.
Still hypothetical. Still a ton of racing left, and see, lap traffic might play a factor, but it looks like 29 is getting out of the way.
And Caleb McCurry actually did come down pit road, so he didn't want to put up any kind of fight to stay on the lead lap. Just decided to come down pit road instead. Looks like possibly making it a 4-stopper tonight. So we are 1/4 of the way through this race. Caleb McCurry's already rolling. He's going to go 2 laps down here. But Caleb McCurry will have fresher tires, so we'll see how long it takes for him to be able to catch Alonso Chocano to get one of his laps back.
It could really shake things up between the top 2 here if he gets in the way of either Reuter or Chocano here. See the fresh tires, he's taking advantage of them, running these 2 down. 50 laps into a run, the top 2 are definitely screaming for tires, but they still can't make it to the fuel window yet, so they're going to stay out on track a little longer.
And right now, Caleb McCurry feels like Superman. He feels like he is very invincible right now with those 4 fresh tires. And he gets a little bit out of the groove, but I think that was planned to go to the outside, knowing Reuter ain't going to give up that bottom. It's McCurry.
Yeah. And there's your difference between tires right there. I mean, just around the outside, I mean, that's, you know, pretty much impossible with the same tires, but there's new tires for you.
McCurry actually was looking underneath Chocano, not quite close enough. If McCurry is able to get to the bottom, this is going to help out Reuter. But if McCurry has to get around Chocano on the top, which again, you know Chocano's not going to want to give up that bottom. And won't really help out Reuter much. McCurry is looking to the outside. Still not able to get side by side with Chocano yet. McCurry is looking to the bottom now. They will be side by side. Chocano
Pretty
is...
much let him go there, I believe, Josh.
Chocano did let him go by, but Chicano's whole corner there was definitely messed up. So he wasn't really able to get to the bottom there until the end of the corner. Reuter wasn't able to really gain anything, though, on the 25. Look back at these two, Caldwell and Feldner. There's still no tail.
I believe Feldner's running pretty close laps to Caldwell here, so pretty interesting to see how he's going to try and take this approach and pass the 12. He has an opening there, tried to take it, but he couldn't do it. Yeah, and he slid there off of 4, so he's having his own issues with this truck.
Yeah, you see all the time on these short tracks. You just gotta, keep working on it, and eventually the truck ahead of you will make a mistake. But for those agonizing laps, it's painfully close to making the path.
Well, guys, let's do some JCTV. Turn it up. Saw there Clarence Feldner able to get around the 12 truck. Cameron Caldwell. So Caldwell down to 5th. Alonzo Chocano still the leader. And Chocano is able to pull away from Reuter.
Yeah, that pass Caldwell had looked very... It looks like he's definitely having a rough time with that truck handling-wise. He just kind of watched it out of the groove, and Feldner just drove right on by, and off he went. And now you see the gap between the two, already a second difference, so he's going to be... He can't wait until that pit stop here in about 10 laps or so until we start seeing trucks probably peel off to the pit road.
I was just going to mention pit window is around 77 laps. So I think Caldwell might try short pit here. Try something a little bit different.
Yeah, at this point, you almost have to think it might be a 3-stop race.
I believe it's going to be a 2-stopper with pit in 10 laps and then again 150, but they might pit a 3rd time for tires if they really need to. And really might depend where a caution comes out if we see one tonight.
Coming to 66 laps complete. 135 at the line to go. It's been all Alonso Chocano so far, leading every single lap of this event after starting on the pole.
Yeah, Adam, good call. Yeah, 2-stop, not 3-stop. That's thankfully I'm not a crew chief.
And we have 2 drivers down pit road. One of them is Cameron Caldwell, the other being the 44 of Andrew Elias.
This is pretty early, so this could be a 3-stop strategy if they do choose. Like we mentioned, like Josh mentioned, wouldn't be another 11 for these guys' laps for them to really start pitting. For fuel-wise, that is.
Caldwell with 4 tires and away. 13.9 second stop from that 12 machine. Both Caldwell and Elias off pit road.
See the difference in new tires right there? Blew right by the truck that just passed him about 7 or 8 laps ago, so difference of freshies right there.
Yeah, and all this time that the leaders are staying out, Caldwell's making up that much more time.
And Caldwell, he is about quarter of the track behind Chocano right now from getting his lap back. See here how long it takes him to get by Chocano, or if Chocano pulls down into pit road before Caldwell's able to get to him.
You can see with the fresh tires, Caldwell can just really attack that corner and just abuse the curb on the inside of the track while Brian Haynes struggled to even come close. And you see the difference on corner exit, and Caldwell just blows right by him. Now he's up to 2nd out of those he needs to still unlap here.
Cameron Caldwell has been making quick work of trying to get back up to the 9 and the 25 to unlap himself. Caldwell already with the 9 of Kyle Reuter, looking low. He's just going to take it on corner entry. There is the gap. The orange car in the bottom of the screen, now out of it, was leader Chocano. Car in the middle of the screen, truck rather, the only one that you see now is Cameron Caldwell. So it is not a battle for position, but it is for him to get his lead, or the lap back to get on the lead lap. Meanwhile, we have the BK Motorsports boys on pit road. Kyle Reuter in the 9 and Brian Haynes in the 86 just behind him. And it's like 4 tire stop for both these guys. I didn't expect anything different. Reuter and Haynes both rolling. Cameron Caldwell underneath Chocano, get his lap back.
Pretty easy there on fresh tires, and plus the 25 is going to be coming in this time, it looks like.
And Chocano does come down pit road. Clarence Feldner stays out. Feldner, the only driver that hasn't come down pit road yet.
And now this should result in Caldwell having a massive lead over this truck, as you see him take over that top spot here, or what will become the lead.
Yeah, so this is interesting. We'll see as this run goes further and further. Caldwell's going to lose time because he has older tires, so it's going to see, you know, will this undercut pay off? I don't know. We'll see in the following laps here, probably around, well, close to the next pit cycle.
Well, I think it might rise sooner than later because of how, unless Caldwell made significant changes to his truck, it depends really how much pace overall he had, and he didn't have much at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be much time at all. You can see, yeah.
Guys, you got to remember this is a fixed setup lead, so they are not able to really make any adjustments on pit road. You can't adjust tire pressures. You can't adjust any chassis adjustments. You can't make any adjustments, but Cameron Caldwell, nonetheless, does assume the lead, so he will get a bonus point for leading a lap. Chocano, see Chocano just eating into that lead very, very quickly. Chocano will get the lead back. Should be able to pretty easily here with the older tires that Caldwell is on. It is a difference of 10 laps. Caldwell pitting 14 laps ago, Chocano pitting 4 laps ago. Chocano right on the bumper of Caldwell now. And looking to the inside. Caldwell actually blocks. Chocano is able to stay on the bottom, roll the bottom just a little bit better than Caldwell is. That is helping Chocano so much, as Chocano actually tries to go to the outside and cut it down to the inside. Chocano looking, he's there. They're side by side going into 3. Not much Caldwell can do here other than just kind of let him by. Caldwell now is just going to have to kind of wave goodbye to Chocano and hope that gets a caution or of some sort. It's a great strategy by Caldwell. Trying to short pit a little bit. And, you know, it's kind of the common theme here. And I'm not just saying this. Caldwell has told us multiple times throughout the season that tire saving is something that is not one of his strong suits. So, you know, probably burned up his tires a little bit more than what he wanted to. So here he's, you know, despite early short pitting rather, he's probably using what he learned from that first run to help him on this second run here. Make sure that he doesn't use up those tires as much as he did on the first run.
Yeah, his goal, in my opinion, his goal should be by the end of this cycle, or the beginning of the next pit cycle. I think his goal should be probably 4th place or 3rd, because that'll be a net gain of at least 1 or 2 positions, because he was 5th, heading into this pit cycle.
The way everything is so stretched out, Brian Haynes is 7 seconds behind Kyle Reuter. Kyle Reuter is right behind Cameron Caldwell. So if Reuter is able to get past Caldwell pretty quickly here, Caldwell, he's not going to have a battle for his 3rd position, assuming Reuter does get by him, for quite a while, as long as he's able to hang on to it.
Yeah, and just, simple pit strategy like that, I mean, it goes a long way in a championship fight. I mean, that's a swing of 2 positions there for Caldwell.
We've seen Caldwell time and time again with the never give up attitude. That has helped him gain his points lead. We saw early his first win of the season at Auto Club. Him and Chocano got together and looked like Caldwell's race was done. He went out and won the race. So he said, hold on guys, I'm not done yet. Took the victory at Auto Club.
Yeah, and that was a commanding win. Really set the tone for the season because, I don't know about you, Josh, but at that point in the race when he was involved in that crash, I thought there was no way. I thought there was no way he'd be able to climb back to the front.
We all doubted that he could, including Caldwell. Caldwell said that he thought he was out of it as well. But he won that. He actually won both the 2-mile races, Auto Club Michigan, and his 3rd win came at Watkins Glen, a road course. For Chocano, he won at the season opener at Daytona, and again, taking the win at New Hampshire. Another mile track, just like this one. Got 112 laps to go. Not quite halfway just yet. Alonso Chocano, though. Guys, continuing to talk about bonus points. Again, I know you guys can't see it. Viewers at home can't see it. I can. And driver with the fastest time in the session is no longer Cameron Caldwell. It is Alonso Chocano. He turned a 30.08. No other driver has been able to turn a 30.0 tonight. So, Chocano, he is absolutely putting on a clinic and trying to gain as many bonus points as he possibly can. So the only bonus point Caldwell has is his lap lead a few minutes ago that quickly dwindled after Chocano took the lead back.
Yeah, just a dominant performance like you mentioned so far. We're not even halfway, and pretty stout performance here in this at this 1 mile. Just pulled away from the field and pretty comfortable gap on Kyle Reuter, who hasn't been able to make much progress on his lead yet so far on this run.
No, I don't want to jinx Chocano. I'm sure this is a stat that Chocano fans and Chocano doesn't want to hear, and I'd rather not give it. As Chocano's my pick to win tonight. But we've seen many times this season that driver that dominates early on doesn't always go on to win the race. We've seen a lot of races last few weeks come down to late cautions, which opens up the door for other drivers. And this one has been all Chocano. So again, I don't want to jinx Chocano. I'm sure Chocano fans don't want to hear that. But, you know, it is something to note. You know, just because Chocano is having all this success now, doesn't mean he is guaranteed to win it. He still has to drive it another 107 laps. So Chocano, he doesn't have this in the bag. Not even halfway yet. Chocano just needs to continue to run his race and you know, focus on the big picture here.
And Alonso's using that really defensive line. He's just using all that curb this late in the run, and he's really one of the only trucks to do so this long after pitting, I believe, from what I've seen tonight. So pretty impressive there, 1 through 3 and 4, as he goes a little wide there through 1 and 2, but this might just be his approach at the moment. You know, he's got this lead. He can kind of just play around with whatever line he wants, really, and see what works and what doesn't for if he needs to use it later on.
Yeah, as you can see here, Haynes closing on Caldwell. And this is what I mentioned before. Caldwell's going to pay the price here toward the end of this run. But, you know, even if he's fourth, it's still a net gain of 1 position. But you can see the 8-6 really closing on.
This is a difference of 8 lap old tires. I'm not sure if either of you guys know this off the top of your head, or if one of you guys can look this up, how old this track surface is. But you can really see kind of just on iRacing itself that it is an older track, older groove, and or surface rather, and that you know, those kind of tracks, they like to eat your tires. So, you know, hey, Caldwell, he may have 8 lap older tires than Brian Haynes right now, but at a track like Milwaukee, that seems like a huge difference. Because you're seeing here just how quickly Haynes is able to close the gap on Caldwell. Just when I turned, we saw this blip cam, it seemed like it was much bigger than this gap. Now it's only a few truck lengths.
Yeah, on the first run, Haynes was naturally quicker than Caldwell as well. Plus, you have to factor in this, you know, the hot track temp, and you know, if I guess I'll look it up eventually how this track surface is, but definitely an observation there. Good observation, Josh, because it is true. I mean, older surfaces really do chew up the tires.
And track temp is 99 degrees, so it was, I believe, 104 earlier. It's come down 5 degrees. Still pretty hot. But we're halfway through this race. 100 laps down, 100 to go. Brian Haynes still closing in on Caldwell. They're side by side.
Yeah, he has a huge run on the inside of Caldwell, almost contact there off of 4. if any light contact, he's going to slot back in line into 1. Then he's going to try and rework this pass on the 12 as he has a huge approach on him on the apex of the corner here. And loses a bunch of time here down the straightaway.
Caldwell got off the line. That helped Haynes get a huge run through the middle of the corner. Caldwell is trying to protect that bottom. Haynes looking a little bit higher down the front stretch. Caldwell, much better job getting through the center of the corner that time around. Brian Haynes is able to have such a great run through the center of the corner.
Yeah, Caldwell's trying to diamond the corner in 3 and 4, sacrificing a lot of center corner time, but he is protecting the bottom on corner exit.
Brian Haynes able to look to the inside. He's going to make it. Driving a little bit deeper into the corner, making Caldwell go offline. There, Caldwell looking low, but not able to make it stick. Now he is looking way low. Get to the inside, try and take that spot back. Haynes able to kind of stay to the outside with Caldwell, but I think Caldwell has preferred lane right here. Still side by side down the back stretch. Haynes no longer has that advantage being side by side. It's once again single file, so now all that work Haynes did get by Caldwell, that's gone. He's got to try again. Get by that 12.
Man, that was a great effort on Haynes on trying to get that. He's still working really hard here and trying to wrestle for it. He's not giving up yet, but he did a great job on getting the position. Here he goes again to the inside of Caldwell into 2 and 3, doing what he did last time. He's going to slide a bit more than he did and force Caldwell wide. And now here comes Caldwell back to the inside. He might cross him over. Can't quite get there yet, but he's got the run down the front stretch. Haynes going to defend the inside.
Haynes did a great job defending that inside, but I think he took the entry way too shallow. Caldwell went wide. That's going to help Caldwell out down the backstretch. Here, entering turn 3, Haynes just enters so low. Oh, Caldwell in the wall.
That was a big hit.
A lot of right side damage on that 12 truck.
Caldwell only has a around a 4-second lead over Feldner. Feldner in 5th. This is not good for the 12.
Now he's got to be careful running on the curbs like he did there. He could lose it on the curb with all that side force missing and just lose it on him.
That's going to hurt Arrow as well. This is a mile track. As long as he's in the turns, it's not really going to hurt him. But once he's down on the gas pedal trying to get all that power, that opening on the right front hood, it's just going to slow him down. We're just past halfway in the MartinPC.com 200. MartinPC.com. You can go and check out all their products. Actually was able to get sneak peek at something Brian Haynes said is going to be out due this week. It's an RPM and RPM shift LEDs with lap times. So Martin, they do more than just PCs. We've seen giveaway push to talk button boxes. Put like push to talk button that can attach right to your wheel. And coming out with a digital dash as well. Sometime they're hoping to have released in the near future. SmartPC.com, check them out. One thing that Brian was super excited about is they received their first international order as well, which was all the way from Ireland. So these guys, they are a company, I believe in Maryland. So a small company in Maryland, able to get some attention in Ireland. So check out martinpc.com. Going through the field, lots of Chocano. You know, we've talked about his dominating performance so far. He's led so many laps in this race, and he definitely will clinch the most laps led. I'm not 100% sure on the lap count, but it's been all but about 3 or 4 of them. Lance Chocano putting on a clinic. Just under 2.5 seconds over Kyle Reuter. It's in P2. Kyle Reuter, he started this race in second place. He lost second place on lap 1. He was able to get it back. SBK Motorsports number 9 truck. Winner of last week's event at another short track in IRP. Proving that he can get around these short tracks. And he's doing a great job sitting here in second place. Just in front of his teammate, Brian Haynes, the 86 truck. Brian Haynes, P3. This is a very good showing from him. He's pretty much been in third place most of the race. Points leader Cameron Caldwell. Not the race he's wanted to have so far. He had a great start to the race. Going from 4th to 2nd, right on the bumper of Chocano. Since then, it's been downhill. And we saw just a few minutes ago getting into the wall. Getting a lot of damage on that number 12 truck on the right side of it. As you see there, screen comes around. See all that damage on the right side of this number 12 grid truck. Clarence Feldner has a little bit of damage on the right side of his truck as well. Not as bad as Caldwell's, but Feldner is closing in on that 12 truck. And, you know, Feldner, he's not in it for points. But, you know, he doesn't want to just finish 5th, so he doesn't really care that Caldwell is in a battle for the championship. So could go up there and pass by Caldwell for...
Yeah, it's the beauty of racing, you know. You got races inside the race. These guys like Feldner, they're in it for themselves. Caldwell and Chocano, they're in it for not only the race, but also a championship fight. And unlike other sports, you've got to deal with, in this case, 5 other guys, not just between you two.
Continuing our through the field, Andrew Elias, 1 lap down. Been kind of quiet tonight, but he is still in it. 1 lap down. He's in lucky dog spot if a caution were to come out. He is actually just behind our leader, Lanto Chocano, so He's not been a lap down long. He's been on the lead lap for most of the race.
Well, for Andrew Elias, the way the point standings look coming into this race, it could be a huge night for him. He could boost up into the top dozen potentially tonight and have his eyes set on a top 10 finish looking ahead into Miami. So he could be really poised for a top 10 run in the points if he, he's going to have a good finish tonight here regardless, obviously, but he can put himself forward with a great shot next week with all the points he'll be able to make up, as he has a little bit of an issue there, but like you mentioned, already a lap down tonight. What's Kyle Reuter by for the second place runner there?
Lastly, down through the field, Caleb McCurry, 2 laps down. But, it's not been a race Caleb McCurry would like to have, but I like that he's still in it. He is 2 laps down, and he's got just as good of a shot as anybody in this race. Still a clean truck, so if something were to happen, then allow him to get his laps back. Caleb McCurry might be able to make some noise. Caleb just kind of in here turning some laps, getting some experience. Not only in the truck and on this track, but, just kind of racing with these guys, which is always beneficial, through these seasons. More races you run, more you're able to learn about your competitors, your peers, the ones you race with. So, Caleb McCurry, he's not had a very strong showing tonight, but good for him to stay in it and continue to turn laps. Go to twitter.com at ITPN Trucks. Follow the In the Pits News Truck Series on Twitter. Get reminded of when our races are, which start Saturday nights at 8 o'clock is when qualifying starts. Next week is the championship race, Homestead Miami Speedway. And we will be doing a 30-minute pre-race. So we'll be starting at 7:30 pre-race. Be very interesting to see what it's going to come down to for Chocano, Caldwell, and if Chocano is able to really dominate like he has tonight, Caldwell might be in for, a real big competition. He is way loose off 4 with the 77 of Clarence Feldner right behind him. Andrew Elias down pit road. I expect Caldwell to start thinking about pitting here soon. Actually, he can go. They could still go about 10 more laps or so. It was about 63 laps ago that Caldwell did come down pit road, so he's kind of right on the money where he came down last time through this cycle. 29 of Caleb McCurry down pit road now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Caldwell does here. Obviously, he can't take that short pit strategy and really play to his advantage as much this time because he's got all that right side damage, so it won't really work to his avail. And we don't expect him to fix that damage if it's a green flag pit stop, so he's probably just going to go as long as he can, hope for a yellow, and then pit with the others, I would believe.
Clarence Feldner got a great run there through the center of the corner, which really hurt his exit speed, but Feldner doing a great job trying to get underneath Caldwell, who left the door open. Caldwell was able to pull away, but he can't leave that door open too many more times like that. Caldwell a little loose off 4. Clarence Feldner doing a great job.
See, Clarence got this huge run on the exits of the corners, but then he has a huge issue with the truck's handling right there, and he just kind of loses the run he has and stalls out on the back bumper of the 12.
I was actually surprised to see Clarence Feldner take a shallower entry into 3 that time there. Caldwell loose. That's only going to help Feldner. Feldner is there. Caldwell shut the door on Feldner. Clarence Feldner trying desperately to get around Caldwell. He enters really high that time by. Try to get that shallow exit. So we see Feldner, he's still trying that line we saw him take way early in this race. Must have really felt something that he liked. Feldner still right there on the back of Caldwell.
It's the best he's been off of 2 in this entire race, this entire battle, I mean, but he still can't do anything into 3. You can see how tight he got on the entry of the corner there. If he didn't back out of that, he probably would have wiped out the 12, so smart move by him there, but now he's got the run off of 4 here.
And he's going to look to the inside, side by side into 1. Caldwell just has to go to the outside, get out of that main groove that he wants to be, that darker patch on the bottom. Run it way wide, way loose out of the 12.
He nearly got the wall there again. He just needs to be a little bit more patient and settle down here. Because you see him slide the rear end of that truck off of 4, and he's just going to come into the pits this time by with 64 to go.
And this is one of the slower pit roads, 45 miles an hour. So for Caldwell, trying to go from full speed down to 45 miles an hour, a green flag pit stop, it is so hard not to speed. Caldwell with his 4 tires, he's going to get back on out there. And you mentioned it earlier, Adam. Did not expect him to take any damage repair under green flag pit stop conditions. He did not. He took just the 4 tires, a 13.3 second stop for that 12. And he exited just ahead of Clarence Feldner. Great stop there out of the 12 truck. Reuter Under 2 seconds on race leader Alonso Chocano.
Wonder if he's just biding his time and riding to the end. We saw last week he didn't lead a single lap and still won the race. Albeit that was controversial circumstances, but he won the pole and he faded quickly. But he was right there at the end when it counted, even after a couple of spins and overtime. So, and he's keeping up pretty decently, as you mentioned, right now in terms of lap time. So, we'll see if he's going to be there at the end. Still 60 to go, a long way to go, and these guys have yet to take the final pit stop.
I think right now it's going to be a matter of who does what when between. No, really, any of the top 3, Chocano, Reuter, and Haynes. All 3 drivers still are in it.
Wow, Wilder got pretty close to that wall there off of 2.
Alonso Chocano still not making his pit service just yet. 57 laps to go in the race. It's only a matter of time before Chocano does come down pit road. He is just about 70 laps on his run here. And pit window is about 75 laps, so he's within 5 laps of having to come down pit road. Big difference between last time Caldwell pit to now. There, Chocano hit the line, start finish line. You see Caldwell just now getting off turn 4, and that start finish line there. So it is almost half a track. This is the difference between Caldwell and Chocano, whereas last time those two were coming down to their green flag pit cycles. Of course, Caldwell early pitting. He was right there battling with Chocano by the time Chocano came down pit road. It is definitely much different this time around. It does have a factor into that damage on the right side of that number 12 truck.
Yeah, moments away from him from pitting, excuse me. As you mentioned, Josh, we'll see how much of a difference he'll be able to make up on Reuter. He's extended his gap a little bit longer here in these last couple of laps, so pretty solid here at the end of the stint here.
Chocano just absolutely doing such a great job. You know, one thing, Adam, I thought was pretty interesting. Chocano admitted just before this race started, he hadn't even turned a single lap at this track. During the practice session was his first laps here. And I'm sure he's using all the notes he was able to gather from New Hampshire to put into the success tonight. Meanwhile, you see the 9 and the 86 on pit road. Clarence
No surprise to
Feldner.
see them. It's no surprise to see these two pit together. We saw them pit together last time, a little bit closer together exiting this time. And yeah, Josh, as you mentioned, the 77 also in.
Clarence Feldner came down pit road as well. 4-tire stop for Feldner. And he's not going to worry about those damage repairs. He gets back out there. But as you mentioned, Adam, it is a lot closer. I think Brian Haynes, he got such a huge entry going into pit road. And it helped him out a lot. So how long until Chocano comes down pit road? Right now, Reuter and Haynes with the advantage. And Chocano is entering this time. So this is the money stop. He's going to cross the line.
Pretty aggressive entry for that 25 truck.
He crosses the line with 49 laps to go. This is the money stop. He can't speed here. 45 miles an hour. He's got the very, very end pit stall. Right sides go up. And left sides go up. And away he goes. I don't think Reuter's going to be close enough to get the lead. Reuter is just now entering turn 1. Chocano exiting 2. So after this all plays out, Caldwell is 4th. And he's got just a little under half a track of a gap between himself and Feldner with 48 laps to go. Let's go ahead and do JC TV, turn it up. 41 laps to go. Coming to 40 to go right here at the line. Alonso Chocano still leader. And he's not looking back at all. Just putting a gap between himself and Kyle Reuter. And, you know, I mentioned earlier about bonus points of fastest lap in the race. That first run, it was Caldwell. That second run, it was Chocano. Well, it has changed once again, and it isn't either one of them. Turning a huge... beforehand, I said nobody had turned a 30.0 other than Alonso Chocano. Now we have a 29.97 out of second place runner, Kyle Reuter. Kyle Reuter definitely figured out something. So that bonus point there for Chocano has been taken away, and so that's one less point Caldwell has to worry about losing to Chocano. For Caldwell, it's one that he would have liked to have had, but I don't think he'll be too upset that Chocano won't be getting that point since Reuter has that fastest lap of the race so far.
I'm not really surprised to see Reuter run that fast of a lap. He was running fast laps beginning of the race, and he's obviously one of the faster trucks running P2 to Chocano right now, but he just can't probably click them off consistently together and just making tiny arrows, which is allowing Chocano to pull away like this.
Yeah, I think the field needs a yellow if they have any chance of defeating Chocano, which we've seen cars hit the wall, we've seen some close racing, so anything can happen here in these last 36 laps.
This race has been caution-free. Gone 165 laps, all under green flag conditions. These guys, they know how to race clean. I don't think we've seen a caution-free race yet. We had one that only had one caution way earlier in the season. I don't think we've seen a caution-free race. Yes, it is a smaller field, but that doesn't keep them from guaranteeing a caution-free race. These drivers, they're smart. They know how to get it done. And drive cleanly at the same time. That's what's helped keep this race under green flag conditions. It's everything Chocano wants to see. Gap between Clarence Feldner and Cameron Caldwell. And here, move the camera of Clarence Feldner. As Feldner gets to the front stretch, if you look way out in the distance, you'll see Cameron Caldwell entering turn one there. It's gotten shorter. 34 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see if Feldner is able to catch Caldwell. He's closed quite a bit so far, but not quite close enough. But we saw those two really racing hard earlier in the race. Feldner wasn't really able to make anything happen to actually get around Caldwell. Feldner tried, wasn't successful. And then when he was successful, Caldwell just came right down to pit road. So we'll see here. 32 laps to go. Feldner is able to actually catch Caldwell, get by him. Brian Haynes is closing the gap on teammate Kyle Reuter.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting fight here between these two. If Reuter isn't able to catch Chocano, if these two are going to go at it for that position. Haynes is a part-time driver. Auto's kind of run most of the season, but I wonder if they'd go at it for positions here and see who's going to be the best in the modern PC 200. So we'll see a lot of speed out of this 86 truck right now, though. As you see, he's running down that 9 truck just a little bit.
This is the battle for second place. .28 laps to go. In the MartinPC.com 200. Another one we're keeping an eye on is now look at the distance between Feldner and Caldwell. Earlier it seemed like Caldwell was a little dot way out on the windshield. Now it's starting to look like an actual truck. It's ahead of Feldner. So I think Feldner, 27 laps to go, he's going to get there. Will he be able to actually pass Caldwell? Is the question.
I think it just comes from the fact that there is less right side damage on the right side of the 77 truck of Clarence Feldner right there. You see, not as bad and beaten up as Cam Caldwell's right side door, so that could be really helping the 77 reel in Caldwell here. As you see, as you mentioned, Josh, the gap really shrinking here in the last couple laps.
It is so close now that Feldner can taste fourth place. A little loose off turn 4 there for Feldner. Closest battle on the track right now is this battle for fourth place. See there, Feldner once again using that bottom, that middle lane, or not the middle lane, but the middle of the corner to really get an advantage and roll up closer to that 12 truck. See there, just behind the 77, a little ways back is the leader, Alonso Chocano. See how much of a fight these two drivers give Chocano. Try to stay one lap, or on the lead lap, not go one lap down.
I'm sure the 12 will fight a lot harder than the 77 as we get within the final 20 laps here. moment there with the 12 exiting 4, and now he cuts off the 77 entering turn 1. Trying to keep sure the plane's phone at bay, and behind him, ooh, little slight contact there, if none, through the center of 1 and 2 there. Felder really backs off him, and he's going to lose a ton of time on the 12 there down the back stretch.
Feldner still continuing to use that run through the center of the corner to get an advantage on Caldwell. Won't be able to really close in on the front stretch, but you see there, Caldwell is just kind of all over the place. Just kind of wiggly down the front stretch. Look here for Feldner on the exit of 4. He takes a little bit lower entry. Caldwell not able to hold the bottom as well as Feldner is. Caldwell shallow exit. Feldner taking a wider exit here. Both enter about the same into turn 1.
You mentioned it, Josh, how much the 77 throttles up in the center of the corner. You can really tell it from this onboard camera, and how much he almost gets in the rear of Caldwell by doing it. And like you mentioned before, but Chocano about a second back from these guys, 2.5 back, right there.
17 laps to go for Chocano. And he's got a battle for 4th place just ahead of him. Once again.
You think with the lead he has, you think he manages that gap and doesn't fight these two?
It's tough to say here. Laps are winding down, but if he tries to go easy now, Reuter is only just under 5 seconds behind. Feldner, I think, missed entry a little bit. I think now is the time to be watching. We got 15 laps to go. And battle for 4th, right in front of the leader, is heated.
The 77 fighting with the conditions of his truck right there. And we've seen these guys fight all night with it, while the 25 just nice and easy right on the back bumper now, almost to that 77 truck through 1 and 2.
Feldner messed up his whole entire corner through 1 and 2. That allows Chocano to just easily get to the bumper, rather underneath the 77. Easily passes Feldner. Caldwell loose. Now, how is Caldwell going to race Chocano?
Well, I'll be honest, I never expected to see this tonight. We have a potential championship leader a lap down, and Chocano is, I would assume, is going to get by Caldwell here.
Caldwell's definitely putting up a fight. He does not want to see Chocano get around him.
He's going to defend that inside line here, like he is right here.
They will be side by side. This is only going to help Reuter. This is only going to help Feldner. Side by side off the exit of 2. Chocano with the advantage.
Caldwell making sure he keeps that preferred lane though on the inside. He's still putting up that fight.
Advantage Caldwell now on the exit of 4. He's got a whole nose ahead of Chocano, who's now completely clear of that 12. Chocano tucks in, rolls the bottom on exit a lot better than Caldwell did. Chocano, he's going to dive it into the corner. Caldwell takes it. Deep block to get ahead of the 25. Stay ahead of the 25. Chocano rolls it so much better on exit, but is not able to use that to an advantage. Otherwise, he was going to be in the back of the 12. 10 laps to go now. And if you look at the ticker, it is getting smaller and smaller for Reuter. Caldwell loose down the backstretch. He goes way down to the bottom.
Chocano's using the bumper here. He gets... Oh!
Wow.
He did give the bumper. Caldwell
Well, it's
has...
go time. It's go time for Chocano. I mean, that lead is... It's shrieking.
Caldwell had his hands full, and now you see just in
you
the
can
picture
see.
that number 9 truck. You know, I want to say this kind of, as Chocano gives the bumper to Caldwell once again, this kind of reminds me, in a way, of Bristol Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Cup Series. Except rather than a teammate helping a teammate win, you kind of got a teammate helping a teammate lose. As Reuter is closing in, 8 laps to go.
They've been at him in the last couple weeks that the gloves have been off, and this really shows that they don't care who wins. They just want to hurt each other. It seems, well, Caldwell, that's Caldwell's reputation right now going towards this fight here. Final closing laps here, and you see the 9. Huge run down the front straightaway, catching these guys.
And what is Feldner going to do? Feldner, he's a lap down, of course. The only one out of all these 4 trucks you see on the screen that he is battling with is a 12 truck. So, I gotta wonder, is he just gonna let the 9 by? Big shot!
No contact.
From that 25.
77's gotta stay right there in case this goes too far. See the damage on the back of that 12 truck, more contact.
Caldwell is doing so much mirror driving.
Check out where that 9 truck is now. Right there.
Chocano in the grass!
He's in the grass. He's in the curb. Here comes the 9.
Kyle Reuter takes the lead. 5 laps to go.
See the front end of the 25 all buckled up. All kinds of damage to that 25 truck. He might have to worry about his engine here.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Caldwell, it looked like he just hooked a left and hit Chocano off in the grass, but it's not over yet.
Wow, 5 laps to go. This is the battle for the lead now. How hard is Caldwell going to race Reuter to stay on the lead lap? 4 laps to go.
He's got to keep the same mentality, I would have to guess.
I think Caldwell running the line he was running was only to help Reuter out and hurt Chocano. Chocano was looking to the inside, had to get on the brakes hard. Much better exit for Chocano, but he's not able to make a move. 3 laps to go for Reuter, who went from...
Like he got the wall entering the corner there.
Not so sure if that was
Haynes
iRacing registering him hitting the wall or not. Go ahead, Gage.
Haynes is into the picture too. If these front 2 get together, look out.
Absolutely. Brian Haynes looking in the back. Though he'd love to see his teammate Reuter win the race, go back to back, I know he would absolutely love to see these two get into each other. Chocano trying to drive it in deep.
And Caldwell's going to be in the way big time of Kyle Reuter here in these last 2 laps. He had driven away just a little bit, but they've run him back down. Chocano is going to look for a huge send here into 3. Can't do it yet. Reuter on the inside of Caldwell.
Caldwell pulls off to the side. The damage has been done. That lead has shrunk. Oh, there's contact. There's spin in the back. Caution is out.
Wow, unreal. Caldwell lost it on corner exit and took out Chocano.
Yeah, he just lost it trying to get the throttle back, and they're not going to think of that the same, probably. And Brian Haynes involved. Wow. The engine let go of that truck.
Clarence Feldner also involved. Tough break for him. And I believe Andrew Elias will be the lucky dog, get his lap back, as Caldwell, Feldner were involved in that accident.
Would there be a lucky dog? Or would there not be one at all?
There would be. iRacing rules does allow a lucky dog if there is somebody eligible for one. So real NASCAR rules, if the first truck one lap down is the caution or involved in the caution, he is not the lucky dog. He or she is not the lucky dog. iRacing, it goes to the first eligible driver, one or more laps down. So Caldwell and Feldner involved in that accident, so Andrew Elias should be the lucky dog.
If we look at that replay, I believe it was just Caldwell losing it on the exit of the corner, and they probably won't look at it the same way, but it's hard to tell from the view. But wow, big shunts there all around involved.
Oh, Brian Haynes just not able to get slowed down in time.
Oh no, guys, that seemed awful late on corner exit. I don't know.
Yeah, that view does show a different story. I do agree with that, Gage.
And Adam and Josh, I mean, we've seen Caldwell be, he's been sideways exiting for practically every lap, but in that situation, I don't know how, I don't know how much, loss of grip he could have had that late off of exit. But, I mean, I don't really think Caldwell had anything to be upset at Chocano about, so I don't know.
That was very interesting. We will see. Green, white, checkered. And everybody down pit road, except race leader Kyle Reuter and Caleb Curry, who is 2 laps down. Cameron Caldwell went out of pit road. And Andrew Elias is going to go a lap down here. I don't think he planned on staying in pit road that long. It's 1 lap to green. Brian Haynes still down pit road, as well as Cameron Caldwell, who is back down pit road. Kayla McCurry got the wave around. So everybody is a lap down except race leader Kyle Reuter. Pace truck is in. And green flag is out. 2 laps to go.
Oh, I would say these would be very interesting back-to-back weeks for Kyle Rowdy here, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Kyle Reuter, he went from sounding so dejected after IRP last week, finding out he won, and he said he didn't want to win that way. He won after having Kyle Ammon get disqualified. Kyle Reuter was not the fastest truck tonight, But
He did have the lead. He did have the lead when that ensued behind him. So props to him. A very sad way for this race to end, but not for Reuter.
for Kyle Reuter, he is going to go back-to-back for EK Motorsports. Checkered flag waving. Kyle Reuter is your winner of the MartinPC.com 200. Andrew Elias, one lap down, will finish second. Caleb McCurry. Hey, I said earlier, he wasn't out of the thing. He was 2 laps down. He was just turning laps, and he's going to wind up finishing third. Great job out of Caleb McCurry.
Never know what's going to happen in short tracks, Josh. You mentioned it. And MartinPC.com 200, that's the cherry on the cake for these guys right here to win the race that they sponsor and all. And I know they sponsor a couple of races, but this was a last-minute type of thing, and obviously another last-minute type of win for Kyle Reuter. And he gets to do donuts this week, Josh.
He does get to do donuts. And I bet those donuts taste so good right now. All right, so break down what happened. One and only caution of the race, Alonso Chocano, Cameron Caldwell involved, as well as Brian Haynes and Clarence Feldner, and Andrew Elias.
Yeah, it all started when, Caldwell and Feldner were for 5th. The leaders got kind of pulled into that battle, and Caldwell, trying to stay on the lead lap, was, very defensive driving. Chocano got to him, hit him in the rear numerous times exiting the corner. Finally, something had to give. Chocano got, kind of forced off the track, lost time, and at that point, Reuter, props to him. He stayed in the race. He was within a reasonable gap. He took advantage of the opportunity. He took the lead, and thing 4, pretty much the whole front pack was wiped out in that crash. But if you're a Reuter, you gotta be proud of yourself, because he never gave up. He was within the 5-second gap the whole race, and he saw he probably was pushing hard and got there, took the lead, and a little bit of luck doesn't hurt. But that was, he had to be in position to make that win. So whether he wants to win like that or not, he had a great race, a great strategy, and really fast pace, and ended up winning.
Well, before we get on to doing, some interviews, let's go down the race leaderboard. Finishing first, Kyle Reuter. Surprise win out of him after Alonso Chocano dominated. Finishing second, 1 lap down, was Andrew Elias. Third goes to Caleb McCurry.
4th is going to be Cameron Caldwell. 5th is Brian Haynes. And 6th is Alonso Chocano, who unfortunately did not finish after that crash with just a handful of laps to go with his teammate there. 7th is Clarence Feldner, who was involved in that crash as well, who finishes last among our starters here tonight.
And Zach Probst, you see, scored there. He did not start, so he will not be scored. I do not believe we're going to hear from our 3rd place finisher tonight. So let's go ahead and bring in our 2nd place finisher, Andrew. Gage, I believe you have caught up with him.
Oh, hey, guys.
Good, Andrew. Congratulations on the 2nd place finish.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was just chilling. First time at the track.
You know what? You kept yourself out of trouble, and, we saw you were really fighting a lap down kind of the majority of the back half of the race. But what was what was going through your head as you saw, 4 cars or 4 trucks wipe on the front stretch?
I was about to die. I had to relieve myself really, really badly. That's why I went a lap down with like 2 to go. When I got the lucky dog, I couldn't hold it any longer. I wasn't gonna fire suit it.
You know what? We've all been there.
I was like, I'll finish second no matter what.
Yeah. But you know what? I can't blame you. I had to relieve myself during the cranking up session up here. But yeah, so first time on the track. What did you notice about the track that made it so difficult today?
Oh man, I hate flat tracks. I know Alonso's really good at these flat tracks, but I don't know. I don't like them. I'm terrible with the tire wear.
How tricky is the tire wear, especially with the pretty scorching track temp?
Oh, it was bad. Once you get 20 laps in, your tires are basically junk. You'll fall off like 2 or 3 tenths, from like 20 to 50 laps, but like that first 20 laps, you're dropping every lap.
Well, Andrew, it was great to see you climb back and get a second place finish because, like I said, you kept it clean. You were, you had good pace, really. I mean, other than going down, but then you got the lucky dog. Didn't go 2 laps down. So, yeah, congratulations to you, and hope to see you succeed in the future as well.
All right, thanks, man.
Was second place finisher Andrew Elias, and we are going to be able to catch up with third place finisher Caleb Curry. Adam, I believe you have caught up with Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb, congrats tonight on the podium finish. Kind of a weird way to get there, honestly. You went down a couple laps early, but you fought back. You avoided that big crash on the front straightaway, and you were able to come out of it with a third place finish after all that tonight.
Might be having some technical difficulties here. Caleb McCurry, he's no longer available now.
Man of few words.
Must be pretty speechless after his run from 2 laps down, looking like he was going to finish 7th all the way to 3rd. Try to reach him again here. Caleb Curry, it's Josh in the JCTV booth. You got a copy? And he does not. So, let's go ahead and bring in race winner Kyle Reuter. Kyle, back-to-back wins. How does it feel?
Again, I don't know. With about 20 to go, I'm just riding around. 10 to go, I'm like, man, I'm catching him. I know. I looked up there and I saw he was having a little bit of trouble with Cam, so I took the advice of the old coach, Jimmy V, and said, don't give up. And man, yeah, here I am.
Well, definitely, an interesting race nonetheless, but, is this, back-to-back wins? It definitely seems like another one that you did not want to win the way that you won. So walk us through, just that kind of never give up attitude. When you saw that you were catching Chocano because little battle between Cam and Chocano was really holding up Alonso. Did it get your heart pumping? Just think, man, I really do have a shot to win this race.
Absolutely. I mean, hats off to Alonso. He flat out drove the hell out of that truck and was obviously the class of the field. So hats off to him first and foremost. Yeah, I mean, being an athlete my whole life and and having that mentality of never giving up and just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm thrilled to be in victory lane for the second week in a row. The Martin PC Chevrolet was it was good. It was good enough. Obviously, it was a top 3 truck, top 2 truck, but as I said, here we are in victory lane.
Well, what's it going to take, for you to actually be able to park in the victory lane and have one go the way that you want it to go?
That's a great question. I'm not really, a lot of these tracks are new to me. Like I said, I practiced during the week with my teammate Brian Haynes for about an hour at Milwaukee. That's about the only laps I had on that track, so I'm still learning all these tracks. I'm more of a short track guy. So, who knows? Who knows? Maybe the upcoming season I'll actually win one the traditional way.
Well, is there any sponsors, team shout-outs you'd like to give? Who gets stuff for you behind that 9 truck?
Yeah, BK Motorsports. My teammates, obviously, Brian Haynes is the main guy on my team here, and Andrew Shartner, Joe Gwalt. Wish those guys would be running with us, and MartinPC.com. If anybody's in the market for a new PC, push the talk button, and we have some really cool technology coming out for sim racing here in the near future. So, and thanks to you guys up in the booth, JCTV, for all you guys do. And yeah, that's all I have.
Alrighty. Well, congrats on your win.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
That was driver of the number 9, Kyle Reuter. Try once again, see if we can dial up Caleb Curry. Nope, he is not available. So, we are going to... Let's actually bring in Mr. Brian Haynes. Brian?
Hey, how's it going, Josh?
Going pretty good. How are you doing?
Well, for about 198 laps, I was doing pretty darn good. But that ending there definitely was not fun.
Yeah, I saw on the replay. It did not look like it ended very well for you. Just kind of wondering there, was it where once you realized what was happening, did you get on the brakes a little bit too hard, just kind of lock them up and slid you right into them, or what happened there?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Cam to come back across the track like that. So, I mean, there's really the only thing you can do in that situation is get on the brakes. I was on him a little bit, and then when he started coming back across the track, I'd locked him up. But there's no avoiding it. It's a tunnel through there, so it sucks. We had a good truck. I was one of the fastest, if not the fastest, truck on the long runs in the first 2 runs. The last run, the truck was just super tight for me, and without having a full field and not having cautions, track position was at a premium. So, at the end of those first 2 runs, I'd start reeling those guys in, and we'd pit, and they'd stretch it back out, and we'd start running them back down again. So I just wish we had some more cautions that we weren't involved in earlier in the race to take advantage of that speed we had in the truck on the long run.
Well, once again, see your teammate, driver Kyle Reuter, win a race. So, when is it going to be your turn? When's Brian Haynes going to be able to park the 86 truck at victory lane?
I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. All the BKM trucks have been running really good across both series, preseason and the other series, and Kyle and I over here. Really proud of Kyle for now he's got a streak going, 2 in a row. So, and I'm glad that he got this one without any disqualifications, let's just say. But he's a great racer, great friend of mine. He does a lot with my real life program, and he's going to be helping me out a lot this year on tracks across New York State. So really proud of him. But my win's coming, no doubt. I've been too fast at all these tracks not to knock one off. So we just gotta be there in the end and not get caught up in other people's stuff.
Any driver shout-outs, team shout-outs you'd like to give? Gets it done for you behind that 86 truck.
Just shout out to Kyle. Great job on the win. We run this BK program, and we've got a full stable of drivers this year. Really having fun with it. Obviously, my company Martin sponsored the race, and they're all over the BKM trucks. Got some really exciting stuff happening. Hopefully, we'll be debuting some new products soon, and everybody hop over to martinpc.com if you're looking for a new PC or you're looking for sim racing gear. We've got you covered.
Alrighty, well, 5th place result. No, it's not what you wanted, but top 5 finish. So
yeah,
maybe see you next week and maybe do a few spots better.
Yeah, hopefully so. Thanks again, Josh. Appreciate everything that you and Adam are doing up in the booth, and we'll see you guys next week.
And that was Brian Haynes, driver of the 86 truck. Well, guys, usually they announce penalties in the middle of the week. Last week we saw the penalty right away of Kyle Ammon with his driving antics to ultimately allow Reuter to win. We do have another penalty that does shake up the standings, the standings, but also the finishing result tonight. So, Cameron Caldwell will be put to the end of the field. So his 4th place finish actually turns into a 7th place finish, and also Caldwell is docked 5 points. So, not sure how points are going to look right at the moment. We got a lot of things to go to. Everything's kind of unofficial at the moment, but that helps Alonzo Chocano out a little bit with all those bonus points he got. He'll be scored in 5th, Caldwell in 7th, and minus 5 points. So it's going to be a lot closer than you realize come Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, it is going to be an exciting battle there at the end and pretty tight. But once again, what a performance by Kyle Reuter. He, stole it right there at the end, like I mentioned before. But like his car owner mentioned, Brian, he didn't have to wait for any disqualifications or anything. He actually crossed the line first this week.
Well, that is going to do it for us up in the JCTV booth from the Milwaukee Mile. Next week, we go to the 1.5 mile track in Homestead, Miami, Florida. Great place to end this season of 12 races. Had 11 down. 1 to go. Championship still open for grabs between Alonzo Chocano and Cameron Caldwell. So, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely looking forward to Miami in 1 week's time. And you can catch our pre-show starting at 7:30. I got lots of things that are planned for the pre-show that definitely don't want to miss. So check that out. 1 week's time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4:30 on the West Coast. So, Kyle Reuter takes home the victory tonight, as we saw. 2 in a row for Kyle Reuter. On behalf of Adam and Gage, the admins behind The In the Pits News Truck Series, Cameron Caldwell, Alonzo Chocano. All of the sponsors, Martin PC, In the Pits News, EPI, Elite Performance Industries, MartinPC.com, JCTV. Thank you for tuning in. And then the drivers as well. I can't forget about them, because without them, this thing wouldn't happen. It's greatly to get a part of, so definitely got to thank the drivers as well. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week at Homestead Miami Speedway, where we will crown a champion. Take care. Stay safe.